Hey guys, this is Kyle Dunbar. Obviously, you're probably on my page if you're listening to this at all. You may have even listened to my previous audio there, and that's why I'm putting this together. Actually, I made the one audio, and people have asked questions and asked me to make more explaining some things. Although please do list any questions you want me to answer because I'll probably answer some in the future. I'm just going to go over a couple of the basic ones that I always get asked when I'm at tattoo conventions. Um, Number one, was it real? Yes, of course it was. If you watch my last or listen to my last audio, yeah, it was real. They drive you crazy until you do something. Uh, do I hate Nunez? No, I love that man. He gave me all this opportunity. Not everybody has done as well with Ink Master as I've been able to. It seems like people liked the storyline they were going after, and so I got a lot of that. I got a lot of love from that. You know, um, I really appreciate uh, him. I really appreciate the producers, the editors, the storyline guys, all the people that wanted me to explode. And I didn't like them then, of course, because when someone wants you to be angry, you're not like, that's my favorite person. But in hindsight, it's worked well for me. That being said, I would have rather $100,000. And that being said, I have to recognize, in my own opinion, I was not the proper person to win. The first time I was on, I still believe this, that Craig Foster was the best tattoo artist that was there. And the second time I was on, and I still believe this, Halo was the best tattoo artist that was there. And those people should have won. And people say, well, what about Sausage? Or what about Maddie? And yes, they're good artists. If you look at Halo's work from day one on that show, I mean, it's awesome. The things that they cut him down for were really, it was just to get rid of him. I don't know. I think there was, I don't know. I don't know why he didn't win. I do think that the show does not bring out the best. Like, they got their excuses. Somebody I like, um, but he should have never been an Ink Master. Uh, he did the worst portrait ever. And before that, it was me. So I shouldn't have been an Ink Master. Um, but people that have won since also, you can be like, why the fuck? And it's always this weird kind of like, they always have this but, right? So you listen to the judges and they'll say this and this and this is kind of good, okay. But, and they use the buts to then build up the winners. If so, I'll explain it like they might be judging Josh today and determining that Josh did a good job making changes with his portrait to more accurately represent uh, the essence of the character, which is something they did. But he doesn't win. Then they say it looks like it's coming out of a vagina or this kind of stuff. Then they beat it up, right? And then they move on to Tattoo Baby, who they say, we love how you made these changes to more accurately portray the essence. So they start out just like they did with King Ruck on X-Men Day when they say, Ruck, we hate the way you did the inside. Ruck, we love the way you brought an illustrated feel to this portrait day. Because when we love that, it makes it okay for us to choose the winner who did not do a portrait, but instead an illustrated tattoo. Scott, who did one of the Wolverines. And think about this too. Obviously, a lot of this comes down to choice of your canvas, but some things just can't win. I'm on accuracy day and I do a tattoo, a face of an 83-year-old woman. You can't win. You can't. You're not going to make that look better than a guy who is literally a model and is having a headshot. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be able to do a better job with the 83-year-old lady. You can have a challenge and you can maybe come in second or third, and if you didn't, as I made the mistake to be accurate, if you throw accuracy out the window, you might be able to come second or third, but there's going to be a pretty tattoo that they're always going to pick. X-Men Day. What the fuck? Did you see the way they used, so there's two Wolverines, right? Here's a little funny secret about the X-Men Day. Hugh Jackman. You notice that I was never in a room with Hugh Jackman? You notice how everybody else seems to be in the room? Well, here's the thing. Hugh Jackman was doing press. He had just filmed the show, and now he is on the press junket, and we had to wait for him. He didn't show up in a timely fashion at all. They told us that one of the winners was the X-Men, and we just moved on. They saved our clothes for like 2 weeks. And the reason I wasn't there was because the time that Hugh Jackman finally showed up, I had already been kicked off the show. I was already home. And then, of course, Hugh Jackman, who does he pick? But the Wolverine. I mean, did we not see that coming? Meanwhile, if you look at Halo's tattoo, it was the best portrait of the day. All right, Rogue, he did a beautiful job. But there was no doubt that the Wolverine, one of the two Wolverines had to win. That's why they had two Wolverines in. Don't you think? They had Hugh Jackman. Before they picked the tattoos you're going to do, they had Hugh Jackman slated. He was showing up. That's a big thing for them. So what do you think's going to win? A Hugh Jackman Wolverine or a Warpath, a comic book character you've never heard of, or the fucked up looking, not bald, who even got it? I think General J did it, and it was Xavier, and he wasn't even bald. Like they give you the picture you have to use. I had the Beast. They give you the picture you have to use, and you're just like, who the fuck is this? You know, like why the fuck? How could this win? Basically, the two Wolverines are going to have to shit the bed. And then you might go on beyond it. But if you look at that Rogue that Halo did, that was the best. Not that it got rewarded as the best, you know. It was actually used to show how you might have to make changes to the design so that the other ones could win. Remember, they used Ruck to illustrate how the illustrated version of parts were acceptable, and then they used halos to explain why the necessity would be for the colors not to necessarily match up to the image. And Rogue was a really white girl, and he was tattooing on somebody that was actually darker skin. He had to make it darker so the contrast would be there, but they didn't reward him for that. They just said thank you so they could then use that to apply to the winner, Hugh Jackman. All this it starts to be bullshit. Your second time around. Am I talking about Ink Masters again? Far too much. I'm just answering questions. Number one, yes, I wanted to beat his ass. No, it was not manufactured. If it was, they owe me an Emmy. I did a great job. And I would rather believe that it was. If you could believe that I was that good of an actor, I like acting. I'm a theater kid. I'm just a fucking nerd. I like acting. I like voiceover work. Anybody's got any lucrative voiceover work? Dude, I'm all about it. But I've never done it. I like it. I mean, I have, high school type stuff. But what I'm saying is, if that was scripted to me or given to me, man, I did a great job and I deserve credit for that. It was not, though. I just went crazy. It was all real. They pushed me there. The other question people ask me, did me and Nunez patch it up? He called me and in the living room of my dingy apartment that I was living at the time, after Ink Master and after I'd lost my house there while being on Ink Master. He called me up and he found out, that I'd lost my house. He had never known that. And he found out some of the troubles that I was going through. My dog, when I came back, we had to put him down. He was having health issues, and everything was adding up. When I was at the show too, it was during the winter, and my wife had a car, and she didn't know how to take care of it properly. It was a piece of poo car, and it had no heat. So these are all problems that were mounting while I'm there, and I can't take care of them. I don't make enough money to take care of them at the show. I don't have any money saved up. I'm losing my house. And I've got a piece of crap car. Like, I know how to mess with the bypass and all that so that I can get heat. My wife doesn't. So all that was stressing me out. He found that out. Did he give me an apology? No, he never gave. It was like a pseudo apology. It seemed like he was more interested in letting me know that he was not a pussy and that he would have fought me if he thought that it was a justified fight. Which I never doubted, and I didn't care. I don't know if he didn't understand this, but I'm not scared to get punched in the face. If you look at me closely, you'll notice one of my teeth, the very front one, has been punched in the face. And that's why I smile so much when I'm about to get in a fight, because I want you to know I ain't scared of that. Rearrange my teeth. It won't be the first time. I've got a lot of chipped teeth. Actually, I'm getting older now, and I don't like to do that. I'm done, actually. I'm not fighting ever again. But Nunez wanted me to know that if he thought it was a justified fight, he would have fought with me. He didn't really want to apologize. So did we patch it up? No, I believe that Nunez is kind of a douchebag. Um, Several reasons. It goes on and on. I think the majority of the judges on there have a certain douchebaggery. I think I've talked about Ali's bigotedness, both of their chauvinistic approach. And then I never get Navarro himself, who wears leather or faux leather. I don't even care. Like, if you're making it cool as a status symbol and then telling people not to kill animals for clothing and shit, it's like you're just a hypocrite, really. You know? Like some people have pointed out, the faux fur can actually be worse than real fur because of the ecological damage that it causes and the status symbol that it still supports of so that other people will want real fur. I don't know how that works in. Everybody can hate everything. We're in a spot now where everybody wants. Did I say we're in a spot now? As though cancel culture is new. I forget. Cancel culture is very old. Even one of the people who often rails against cancel culture, Joe Rogan, is the first time I'd ever heard of the guy. I didn't watch the Fear Factor and all that stuff. First time I ever heard of him was after he canceled Mind of Mencia. Carlos Mencia was canceled by Joe Rogan, and now Joe Rogan goes on and talks about how cancel culture is the worst thing and it shouldn't be. Well, yeah, no, not when it's pointed at you. When you're pointing it at other people, cancel culture just seems fine. I think people have always tried to stop things that they don't like, though, and I guess that's what cancel culture is. It's just now there's more of them grouping together. They have better platforms to group together. Anyways, neither here nor there on it. Let's get back to the questions. Did me and Nunez patch it up? Not really. Did we hang out? We never even hung out. When you're on the show, we're not hanging out. I don't see Navarro and them. Other questions that people ask me: what have I been up to since then? Traveling. We got in our RV. We bought an RV. Took, I think, $3,000 to $5,000 and got this piece of poo RV. We moved our whole family into it, and then we drove across the country, learning about all the wonders of the country, of a 454 that often breaks down the side of the road, and an RV that is a 1991 that you need to fix every day. So we did that. We traveled with Villain Arts. I want to thank Villain Arts the most. If you guys are familiar with Villain Arts or my experience, or what I'm doing now, I pretty much tattoo almost exclusively at tattoo conventions. So I drive to a state with my wife, sometimes my son. We set up for the weekend, we tattoo, and then we come home. And after we get back home, we don't really do much. The COVID, honestly, has slowed us down a lot. We came back to Michigan. After 3 years on the road, we came back to Michigan because there was a child born that was medically fragile. His parents needed some time, and the boy needed some help. So we fostered the child until his parents were able to take care of him. And now everybody's doing better, and it's quite a blessing. We love it. But we were thinking about leaving again, and our mother's health is kind of waning. We feel like we need to be around in Michigan longer. So So that's what we've been doing for the past since Ink Masters. We've been traveling to Villain Arts tattoo conventions, a few other tattoo conventions that aren't just Villain Arts, um, but mostly Villain Arts. And then we sat down here. We're living at my wife's house that she grew up in. It's in Flint, Michigan. It's in the city. It's not the best neighborhood, but it's what we can afford. We're still not rich. Maybe that. I think a lot of people get the idea that fame and riches are just hand in hand. And I'll accept a certain amount of celebrity, I guess, that people will give me. They're like, because people do celebrate me being around or being there of some sort. But what they, but and so the celebrity comes from fame. However, fame and celebrity do not equate to money. You have to know how to use that shit, and I don't know how to, you know. People have messaged me, I guess, to try and use my Instagram cred or my Facebook cred or different things like that for commercials. But I'm not a commercial dude, and I don't know about their products and stuff. And it always just seems like a scam. Paris Hilton, she knows how to make money off of celebrity and fame, and Kyle Dunbar doesn't, and doesn't really care that much about it. I know who I am, just average jerk off. So it's it it's more surprising to me that people do celebrate me because I'm a douchebag in the end, you know. Actually, it makes me have to rise up to a higher level almost of being where I have to try and be better, be a role model almost or something. God, that sounds terrible. Um, but to try and be more than normally I might because people look up to me. So I have to think about my actions a bit more, I guess. But the long and short, am I doing good? I'm doing good. Yeah. Can I complain? That's all I do. Um, am I making money? Same as before. I'm only making money by tattooing. Nobody's calling the kid up for fucking, voiceover deals or anything. I don't have any acting lessons or any acting, not lessons, but any acting, you know, deals from it. I'm not showing up on Sons of Anarchy. That's for the Navarros. Um, People ask me, why do they even have David Navarro there? That's a question I get asked a lot. It's because the other two idiots are really bad at talking. Okay, they can do color commentary, they can talk about a thing, but just introducing it, watching Dave work, you really realize that there is an art to it. And you could see that he put a lot of time into it. It's actually watching him work how I decided that I was going to call Nunez a bitch and just stick with that because I didn't know what he was until I realized he was a bitch because he didn't have his words in his mouth. He had someone else's words in his mouth. And I realized how much that hurt those guys by watching Dave Navarro be a professional all the time. Be a professional. He would just read the cue cards. Sometimes he would, make advice changes to the script that he was reading or whatnot. To say it more like him. But he was a professional. He could just do it. Boom, boom, boom. He wouldn't have to do cut after cut. Occasionally we would do cuts, but mostly just to give him more options for the editing room. He was just professional. And then when you watch the other guys attempt to do anything like that, you realize that they were kind of, dumb about it, that they weren't able to. Ali, I believe, probably could because he can talk and say whatever. Nunez needs more direction. And so the reason Navarro is there is one, for credibility, because you need some star power. If you never heard of these other two guys, you need some other dude. And then two is because the other guys couldn't do that job. That's why Navarro's there. No, he's not a judge of tattoos. He gets bad tattoos. He gets tattooed by Oliver. Oliver does bad tattoos. I'm not impressed with either of the judges' work, nor have I ever been. I have always been disappointed with both of their work. People have sometimes talked about how they loved Ali. This is before he was even on the show. I had magazine article. Like I've had friends in this industry for a long time. And Ali's been in the industry for a long time. And I remember one time talking to a magazine writer or possibly editor for Machine Gun magazine. She just talked about how much she loved Ollie, and I didn't know of his work, but she had some images of his work, and so she showed me his work, and I was not impressed. I was like, "Wow, second grade, that's cool. Just, he can color inside the lines. That's, I mean, wow, you know." Oh, he put the lines down too. I guess all this is big stuff, I guess, for some. But his tattoos are archaic and they're derivative. They lack imagination, except when he's just throwing it out the window and doing a tattoo on the bus of a pizza box or something. And then it's still, there's no imagination. It's really just stupidity that he's expanding in, that he's putting on the tattoo. Um, I've never been impressed by their artwork. What else to say of it? Should they have been judges? Sure, why not? They're making a show. They made a good show. They made it entertaining. Uh, Weighing in on anything else? What? Oliver being in blackface? Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. Um, he's a bit of a racist. He's more bigoted, I think, than racism. But nowadays it's all synonymous, I guess. I personally feel that racism should be quantified. Like there's levels of racism. If your racism is affecting another person or a group of people, then it's different than if your racism is just held inside of your stupid, immature brain. You know what I mean? If you just got words that you use to talk about people when they drive by you or something like that, and they're based off of race, and they cut you off and you're mad, that's different than if you're like somebody who's a clerk at the city and then because of the color of someone's skin you try to work against them, or you racially profile when you pull a car over or something like that as a police officer. Those levels of racism are higher up. Oliver was being stupid and dressing up on Halloween. However, we don't know that he didn't use his racial bigotry against contestants on the show. So, whatever of it. Anything else? Questions people ask me. What have I been up to since COVID hit? Since COVID hit, I've been playing Call of Duty almost exclusively. I haven't been doing anything else. Just playing Call of Duty. Um, I play on mobile. I don't care for the PlayStation platforms or the Xbox platforms anymore. Mobile's free. So here's my little commercial for COD Mobile. Like, look it up. It's free. You can, if you have a good tablet, you got a good size screen already, you can always project your tablet or your TV or your phone to a TV, and then you can also use a Bluetooth PlayStation controller or a Bluetooth Xbox controller. Hook that up with your phone, and then it still works with the game. Um, who cares? That's my little bit of commercial for them. I think that's it. And it's short enough. I'm trying to stop it now. And listen, if you guys are enjoying these, please respond with questions you would like to have answered. Okay, I'm just trying to go over a few of the easy ones now, and we're going to, my assistant, Mark, you got a job. You're going to try and compile the questions, and then I'm going to try and answer them in another audio. And because they'll be coming from questions, maybe it'll be shorter. So hopefully it is. I apologize for the length of these things. For all you people who have told me not to worry about the length of them, thank you. But I still do. I have nothing else. Do I have anything else? No, I just want to go play more Call of Duty really right now. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.